Let's kick it off with tell me something good. What good happened in your businesses last week, Rich? What good happened in your business last week, my friend?
Sorry,
Any wins? Any wins from last week?
Yeah, I have a new real estate agent that I'm working with, and we got him going on his marketing, and he picked up 2 opportunities with listings that are also going to be downsizing,
Oh, wow.
and they're going to be purchasing. So he's going to get 2 transactions out of each of those,
Oh my gosh,
which
that's
is
awesome.
super exciting.
How
Yeah.
did he get those connections?
He's running. He was running some ads,
Okay.
social media ads.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah,
running
and that's
ads.
where he picked them up.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
All that within the last couple of weeks.
There you go. All right. Well, round of applause for Rich and his mentee.
Yeah.
And then come on, guys, come here up. Go ahead. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we go. All right. What else? What else happened last week? Clark.
Well, we just, he's going to be here, but Justin Morris, process of joining us. And then Ryan Miller, who's here local, Brissa, Legardo Rios in Albuquerque, Mexico, and Randall Bandy, who's finally onboarded from Missouri.
Congratulations, 3 new agents. Awesome. Yeah, give them a round of applause, guys. Come on. Feels good. Applause. Tom, what do you got?
In the back, the listing that I had on for 96 days before we finally got an offer, and tons of issues in escrow with conflicts of interest or conflicting information on the TDS and the SPQ. I would never close. Finally closed last week. So there is a God, and He loves me. I've been doing open houses since I believe Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and just signed a $2.7 million 5-acre listing in Olive.
Hey!
Oh, wow. That's awesome. It's a big one.
There is a God.
There is a God, yes.
Steve, I think Steve had his hand up first.
We went active last night on 4,800 minor cove in Loomis, 3,900 square foot on a lake, 5-car garage, 1.5.
Wow, 5-car garage.
Right.
That's worth it. Yeah, give me a rough thought. How'd you get that listing? Where did that come from?
It was a referral from a file we did in Rock.
There you go, referral.
We did a really good job for this lady, so she referred us to one of her friends.
Wonderful. Referrals work. Barry, what do you got?
So we've got our first tenant in a co-living property, so that's good. And then we have a co-living meeting here tonight at 5:55, if anybody's interested in that. And what else?
The meeting basically teaching people how to do it,
How to
or
do
for
co-living.
investors.
You guys will be interested in learning.
Yep, and then also I've got 2 properties coming on that are fully furnished in Roseville if somebody's looking for a midterm rentals.
Midterm rentals. Awesome.
Nice.
All right, we'll reach out to Barry. All right, any other wins before we move on? What do you got?
I'm not a realtor, but I'm always sharing the listings that I see, and I got a really cute little text from a realtor the other day saying, you shared a property, and I just got a call from an agent that I ran, where I started with property ID. And they said, oh, how'd you find out about this? And they said, oh, Deborah Spear shared your listing on the page. And we went and checked it out, and they actually made an offer on it just up the hill in Loomis. So
Nice.
social media works. If I see it there, I will share it, especially if I'm living in that community or I've been there, and I'll share something really cool about it. I'm just really excited because we're all in this together.
We are. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, round of applause for that agent and you. All right, Curly, your turn. What do you got?
Well, Bang closed. That's
Oh, yeah, what the heck is Bang?
Yeah.
Bang's over there. He just closed an escrow. Right, everybody say hi, Bang. Hi, Bang. All right, what else is this?
Listings coming up.
Got some new listings and closings as well. We closed like 4 last week, so. Fine. All right. Good stuff. All right, moving on. We have some upcoming events. Want to make sure you are all aware of. So Thursday, September 11th, Sarah Perkins will be coming in. I don't know if you heard, JJ's talked about it, Sarah's talked about it, but it's not just based off FICO scores anymore. The metrics that investors are allowed to use is changing, and that is loosening up the requirements. So if your people weren't approved before, they might be able to get approved now. She'll be discussing more about that this coming Thursday. Then after that, we have Carrie Sauve. She's coming, and she's gonna be talking about AI. I had her on the radio show yesterday. So we're gonna air her stuff, not this Saturday, but next. A lot of good information. She's talking about how to rank on AI, how to use like all your workflows and process, how to create workflows processes if you already have them, how to link that up so it automatically feeds into AI. and how to create a better client experience. So that way it's not just on the business side, but it's also the client facing side. She's gonna be speaking at PCAR. She is very entertaining to listen to. She's very engaging. So you're gonna wanna make sure you make that one. Scan the QR code to RSVP. It is free, but we need to know how many chairs to set up. If you don't RSVP, that's when you see Barry in the back slinging chairs and throwing them out for people. And please, please, please bring a friend. These people are not free, right? Brent, she's coming all the way from lives Toronto, Canada. Brent is flying her in, paying for her flight, for her hotel, for her food, for the setup of the room, and it's free to use. So please just do Brent a favor, do yourself a favor, and bring just at least one guest. One guest. All right, and then moving on.
And by the way, these charts are now, if you notice, we have a leaderboard up front.
Yeah.
And they're on the flip. So if you don't get it here, you can get it over there.
Yeah, the QR code is right there at the front of it. So if you didn't get it, you can always scan up there. And then Swing for the Kids is coming up. September 29th. This is a charity for Shriners Children's Hospital. Brent Crandall puts it on every single year. You guys heard me talk about this now for months. It is the best golf tournament all year round. It's nice and cool. You're out by early afternoon, and it's all for a good cause. So scan the QR code, make sure you'll be there. We're going to be there. We're sponsors. I know there's lots of people in this room who are sponsors as well. And then moving on to the next one. EXPCon is coming up. Thank you for adding this, Jose. This is a great idea. So EXP's coming up. Con is coming up October 20th to the 22nd. Who here is going to EXPCon? Okay, we see a lot of hands in the air. This is going to be fantastic. If you want to go. Also, if you're a capper and you go to this, that counts towards your points towards getting your full icon award. I mean, if you're an icon agent, it counts towards going towards your full icon award. That's the capper. So there's that, and then Cabo. This is going to be a great one. Raise your hand if you've been to Cabo in the past. Like not like for Brent. This is like the best one ever. About his 2 hands up. Okay, so you want to attend Frank's golf tournament and you want to go to Cabo 2025. This is going to be fun. 2026. Does it say? Oh, it does say 26. I'm just not firing on all cylinders. Any more coffee? All right, Cabo 2026. It's going to have some amazing speakers. We don't know the whole lineup yet, but you're not going to want to miss it. The sooner you sign up, the cheaper it is.
We did just get Gary Brecka and his wife is gonna speak also. So
Sage.
Sage Brecka is also gonna be.
Okay, guys. So Gary Brecka, I think he's charging somewhere around 100 grand to speak generally, right? So just right there, the price of your tickets is well worth it. He's gonna be coming, you're gonna hang out with them, and he makes himself, Gary Brecka, all the speakers do. Like, have you guys heard of Gary Brecka? You've seen him with like Bobby Kennedy, Grant Cardone. He hangs out in the hotel room. He hangs out in the lobby. He'll be there hanging out on the beach and the pool. So people just walk up, talk to him, ask them questions about health regarding themselves personally and their families. So you don't just have to be a spectator. You also get to be involved with the speakers. Moving on. On what date is this, Jose? The 23rd. October 23rd. So it's not, immediate, but it is coming up. We wanted to make you aware. Brent is paying for a headshot clinic. Okay, so this is where we're hiring a professional photographer to come out. Realtors notoriously have headshots from 1987. Okay? So if you want to update your headshot and look good while doing it, he's hiring Nikki. Nikki's going to come out. She's going to do that for you, and it's free, $3.99. So there's an ongoing theme. PCAR is free. The EXP headshot is free. So Brent is doing this, and then moving on. And you're gonna have to scan. By the way, go back, Jose. Go back really quick. If you do not register, she will not take your picture because there's a limited amount of time. This isn't like PCAR. I'm just going to show up and Barry will throw a chair out for me. If you do not register, they will not take your picture. So make sure you register. And we're not trying to be mean about this, but it's free and we have to make sure we have enough time for her to get everybody's photo. Moving on. It's Alex in the room. There he is. All right. Alex is going to be talking about what he's teaching tomorrow on ball drills. Give him a round of applause.
Hey, thank you. So tomorrow I'm going to continue my series on AI, and we always recap what we've done. So we've trained our AI. It sounds like us. It created a business plan. So tomorrow we're going to show you how to create 90 content ideas. Now that you've programmed your AI, we're going to create 90 content ideas that are specific about who you are as a realtor in your business. So If you've missed the previous classes, they're on my YouTube channel, they're on the school platform. And for Carrie coming in next month into PCAR, if you go through these steps, a series of what we call foundational AI steps, you're gonna be ahead of the game when Carrie comes to town. So
Absolutely.
yeah, join me tomorrow here in this room at 10 o'clock.
Wonderful. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
All right, guys, one more round of applause for Mr. Alex Dyer. He's like nationally ranked with Bold Trails, by the way, guys. He's a true resource. If you're not taking advantage of him, make sure you do. Moving on. All right, it's time for well, before we get into our lender minute, we have a special guest, nationally ranked speaker, and he's gonna be talking about, I believe, some self-defense stuff. Do you have a class coming up?
Yeah.
Mind coming, everybody clap Tom Costello up. He's gonna talk about his upcoming course on how to keep realtors safe. Look at those muscles. He knows how to do it. Step one, go to the gym with Tom.
Thanks, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
How many of you interact with the public on a regular basis? All your hands should be up because you're all in the service business. We're all interacting with the public. Would it surprise you to know that the majority, well, we live in an unpredictable world. Part of that unpredictability is physical violence. People that pretend to be your friend, pretend to be a client, pretend to want to do business with you, but they have other agendas in mind. Does that surprise anybody? Would it surprise anybody to know that victims are victimized because the person that does the crime, the perpetrator, are people that they know? In overwhelming, over 95% of the time, the perpetrator is someone that you know and someone that you already trust. That's kind of scary. So my goal tomorrow is I'm presenting this tomorrow at PCAR, Placer County Association of Realtors. It's a lunch and learn. So from 11:30 to 1, lunch is provided, $5 for members, $10 for not. Just for the lunch alone, it's pretty darn good. Yet you might learn a few things that'll keep you safe. In the world today, we are constantly interacting, especially ladies. I hate to say it, but you are a whole lot better looking than we are. And you're a whole lot more attractive, and you're a whole lot more likely to be attacked than men. Predators look for people who they consider an easy target. Most importantly, they look for people that are distracted. How many of you are on your phone on a regular basis? Okay, you don't even have to confess, I already know. Rich is not the only one. Okay. We are all on our phones way too much, and I get that we need them for business. We need them to do what we do on social media, scrolling, returning emails and phone calls. However, when you're in the public square, I beg of you, get off your phone. Get your eyes up. Predators look for people who are distracted, because if you're distracted, you're not paying attention. And if any of you know the difference between an ambush and something that you're prepared for, the big difference is what? Surprise. Exactly. Speed, surprise, violence of action. So if you're surprised, you're deer in the headlights. You have no idea what's coming. Action is quicker than reaction. So if I know I'm going to do something to you and you don't, who's got the advantage? I do. We're going to talk about the way we process information and why, when something like that happens, it takes a whole process for you to realize you're being attacked. Most of us are in denial because all of you are nice people and you don't believe that someone's actually attacking you. And by the time you figure it out, you're bleeding and on the ground and almost done. So what we're going to talk about is how to protect yourself at open houses and showings whenever you're in the public square. A little bit about self-defense, but more about awareness. Paul Revere in his Midnight Ride did the best thing for the colonials, and that was to wake them up out of sleep, out of scrolling, out of distracted by Netflix. Yes, it was around back then. And get them into realize that the British were coming. And that split second awareness is what keeps you alive and safe and prevents PTSD. We're going to talk about that, and I'm going to arm you with the ways to do that. So invite your friends. I can pass out flyers per the office policy. I can't leave them around, but I can pass them out to you individually. So please come tomorrow, 11:30 to 1 at PCAR. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Tom. All right, now it is time for our lender minute. These are getting a little nicer now that interest rates are softening a little bit. Please welcome to the front of the room, JJ Mack. Give us some good news.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, good news. There's two really important things that are happening tomorrow, this evening, actually. Do you guys know what they are? Anybody have any ideas?
I have a class here on co-living.
That's it. That's the thing. No, it's so two things other than that. First thing is a sport that comes back on tonight. It's called football.
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
got football back on, so that's good. Yeah. Okay, well, never mind.
Not with that.
But other than that, the BLS job numbers are getting put together, and tomorrow we're gonna get what those numbers are. And that means that if all comes together the way we think they're gonna come together, ADP released their numbers today, and it said that we're gonna have a bad jobs report tomorrow, meaning interest rates should be better. So let's do it. So that's a good thing. If the BL, and this has happened before, where ADP has come in and then the BLS has said something else. So we're hopeful that they actually follow suit and they actually say what's accurate, and the Fed doesn't hold it back. So we'll see what happens. If that does happen, I wanted to show you guys a chart. I had Jose plug it up here. There it is. So you can kind of see here, this is several months here from June all the way to September. These little green candlesticks, what we call them, are days. One day is one green or red chart, basically. So this is a bad day. This is a good day, right? So the higher we get here, the better interest rates are gonna get. So you can see this is an upward trend, right? And look at this. This is a daily moving average here. And you can see if we break above this line here, there's a lot to the upside. So if we can get over this and this up there, interest rates are like 6.5% right now. If we get up here, that's like 6.2 to 6.3. So things are slowly getting better. We're slowly seeing things get, easier for clients to qualify. So hopefully this all happens and your clients are going to be able to qualify for higher home prices. Now remember, when that does happen, every 1% interest rate reduction brings in 5 million more homeowners that want to buy homes.
Wow.
So what I wanted to talk about next is something that we have available to all of you as real estate agents. And we have this, it's a buy now versus waiting flyer. And this buy before waiting, you can do it on any one of your listings, and you can have it at your open houses. You can have it at your listings. As people walk in, they can grab it. And it talks about what it would look like to buy today versus what it would look like to buy 6 months from now and a year from now. So I was on Zillow this morning putting this together, and man, there was one real estate agent on there, and I could not find a listing that wasn't listed by this agent. This gal, Valerie Jennings, you guys heard of her? Man, oh man, she had like 5 of them and I couldn't keep away from her. But this one on Firelight Drive, is that your list? Yeah, so 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,200 square feet, about $599. So I put that in here, and this is what it spits out. And I can send this to all you guys. It's very simple. It takes me like 3 seconds to do. It's really, really easy. But it talks about the appreciation growth that your client will miss out on if they wait to buy today and want to buy 6 months or a year from now. That is one of the most coolest things about buying a home, right? Why do you buy a home versus rent? Well, I don't want to pay a landlord, and it's a good investment. So if you really want to buy a home for an investment, well, why wouldn't you want to buy today? It's a better investment today than it's going to be a year from now. And it's all gone to show. This is only a 4% appreciation. It's usually over 5%. So it just is very, very conservative here. But this is going to tell you the payment difference and the amount that you would gain in appreciation. The payment difference today versus a year from now, if interest rates did go down 1% in 1 year, is only $239 on a $600,000 house with 10% down. But you are missing out on $24,000 in appreciation growth. You do the math on that, $230 times 12 is not $24,000. So the big thing about that is you can always refinance, right? So why would you wait? What is the point of waiting? We have these conversations with our clients, and this is an easy way to show them that this is still a good time to purchase a house and not wait for that year. I do understand that it's hard to have those conversations, so charts and graphs and things that move and show you are sometimes an easier way than just you talking to them. But we have a lot of these types of things. If you need any type of formula that talks about interest rates or charts to show your clients, hit me up. You got my information here. This goes to my whole team, and they will get you this information. You can just call or text that number. Is there any questions or anything I can do for any of you today before I move on? Not, I'll go sit down.
How about Brad?
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Round of applause for JJ Mack. All right, so we are here at the point of the meeting. This is why everybody comes, is for the keynote speakers. And today we have a very special speaker. I consider her way better than Mayor of Roseville, because the Mayor of Roseville told me no, John, I don't do that. However, the Mayor of Rockland, Ms. Jill, has said she would be happy to come and tell us all about what is new and upcoming in Rockland, so that way we can be cutting edge with our clients. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to Jill, Mayor Jill.
Yeah, I do. I want. I don't have to do anything. Hi. Good morning. It's so good to see you. I know. It's good to see a couple familiar faces too. Thank you for having me. Krista Bernasconi is an outstanding Roseville mayor, but she has to work for a living in the day. So I know it makes it hard, but I'm so happy to be here. I'll tell you a little bit about me, and I'll tell you a lot about Rockland and kind of things we did the last year and what's coming up. My name's Jill Gallardo. I am the rookie in my family. I am the new guy. I've been in Rockland 35 years. My husband was born in Rockland. His parents were born in Rockland. His grandparents immigrated here from Spain in about 1911. And his mom was born in her house on Pacific Street. Anybody been to Lori's little shack by the railroad track? Okay, I like you a lot better now. Yeah. Directly across the street, as my mother-in-law was born in her home in 1922. And she went to Rockland Elementary when it was on the vacant lot across from the laundromat, if you're familiar, in Mezcalito. And when she got married, she moved across the street. And 94 years later, she passed away in that house on Pacific Street. So we haven't gone very far. My father-in-law, Andreas, which everyone knows him as Hank, his family left Spain and they stopped in Hawaii, to work in the fields. And so he was born in Hawaii. I keep saying, can we buy land in Hawaii? Are we Hawaiian? I'm not sure, but they tell me no. But so he got to Rockland when he was 2 years old. He went to Rockland Elementary the original Rockland Elementary, which was on Pacific. Worked for Aerojet in the afternoons, 3 to 10. And then he built the laundromat that's there on Pacific. We ran it for 69 years. And if you've been to Mezcalito, my favorite Mexican restaurant, anybody been there? That was my mother-in-law's restaurant. So my father-in-law built that in 1948 and we ran it for 30 years. And it was the diner. She made pies every day. And you came in and you had this special, it was like short rib day. And my husband was that kid that rode his bike to Rockland Elementary. And at lunchtime, he rode his bike to the restaurant and made his own hamburger and then went back to school. So one of the fascinating things tonight, and I wear my favorite pin. So my mother-in-law, 30 years, fantastic business. She did incredible. That was Highway 40 was the way you got through town. And they were open 7 days a week, 2 a.m. They closed on Friday and Saturday because that's when the bars closed and everybody came to eat. But what she wasn't was a member of the Chamber of Commerce. 1970, it's a men's only organization still. So she started a service arm of the chamber and they were called the Chambermaids. And this is her chamber pot pin that I proudly wear because it just to remind myself how far we've come and what you guys do, women couldn't buy a house, you couldn't get a loan, but it's kind of stunning sometimes to look at those years. My husband Dan went to Rockland Elementary, kindergarten through 6th grade. Anybody know where he went to middle school if you lived in Rockland in those years? Rockland Elementary was the only school we had. So he went kindergarten through 8th grade. And I always tell the kids at Rockland Elementary, they're the Rockland Bulldogs and Springview is the Eagles. And I tell them they're the Eagles because Rockland Elementary were the Eagles and they had all the basketball uniforms. So they just took the colors and the uniforms and sent them to Springview and they had to do a little change. And then for high school, everybody in Rockland rode a bus. They got in the bus in front of the laundromat and they went to Roseville High for a long time. And then Roseville got full. And so my husband, Danny, went to Oakmont. That was the next school. And then Oakmont got full. Then the Rockland kids went to Del Oro. And finally in 93, we opened Rockland High. And then many years later, Whitney High, which are outstanding schools. My husband retired about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was the principal at Del Oro, coached football there forever, and had to remind people all the time, he's not actually a Loomis kid, he's a Rockland kid. But we have a very close relationship. Anybody that you'll always hear Rockland and Loomis do this, we're all related somehow, I'm telling you, and half of Roseville related somehow. I call it inbreeding, but they hate it when I say that. Everybody's related somehow. Myself, I grew up in Carmichael, so not too terribly far away. Went to Weber State in Utah and came back because I love this area and where we live. And I worked in transportation. So started with San Juan and then Rockland, and I spent the last 13 years as the director of transportation for Elk Grove Unified, if anybody, the Beast. When my son got accepted to Notre Dame, I went to Elk Grove so I could partially pay for the tuition. I'm trying to think of anything else. I serve on, so let me tell you a little bit about Rockland if you don't know. About 20 square miles. We have the highest income per capita for in the area. About 97,000 is our average for right now. In our 20 square miles, I have 37 parks with more to come. Our goal is that everybody can walk to a park. We have GSAC, the Greater Sacramento Economic Council, has said we are the second highest educated residents in the area. Davis has got us, a little bit smaller, but they got us. So when I'm battling for a business, I need businesses to come to Rockland. I pay the bills with sales tax and property tax. And when I need a business, that's really our sales point is highly educated workforce. Everybody wants to live here. Your families, they want to live in Rockland. So families are happy when they get there. We have the highest rated schools. That's why people come, quite frankly, I think to start. I think the good thing with Roseville has Rose Electric, kicks my butt every time when I'm battling for something. I'm sure you've all heard, people, why don't you just join Rose Electric? I'm going to throw an extension cord if it was that easy, I think. We did partner with Lincoln and we hired a consultant to see, is there any way we can get out? Because I think Roseville would accept us, but can we get out? But PG&E owns the infrastructure. San Francisco offered them $2.5 billion and they said no. So quite honestly, Rockland doesn't have them on the ropes. They are refusing to sell. They won't even give us a price or even have a conversation. Part of it is because we have really high bills and really density. They don't want to have to, no offense to Sheridan or Weimar, they don't want to have that few houses. They want the density and where we are. So that is probably our biggest battle. We were one of the folks that started Pioneer with the county to try to save some, and it does. It saves, it's not a ton, but it's less money I'm sending to PG&E, and I'll take any savings I can get. So I do, when you guys have people and they ask, one of the things I think they get very confused is they think it's a company. What is Pioneer? And it's just all of us getting together in the county to say, let's pool our resources. We buy our electricity from smaller people that PG&E doesn't bother with. You save on the electricity generation. You still pay PG&E to transmit it because they own the lines, and you still pay PG&E for gas, but it's a little bit of savings. It is not a for-profit company. Probably the best part of it is you have a representative here. They're located in Rockland. You can call somebody and compare, because I think that's the one I see the most is people get confused and think they're getting double charged. So whenever you're working, if you guys ever have a question, call Pioneer. They'll tell you exactly how much, what the difference is. And it's phased. The best we've been is about 15% cheaper, maybe a little bit more than that. Right now, I think we're about 10, but it's it just fluctuates on the energy market as you're talking. By the way, I tell them, do you know the number one cause of death for women in the workplace? Because he's giving you it's homicide. Just thought I'd dash in. And it's usually somebody you work with. So check out your neighbors. I'd look at them a little closer.
Wow.
I know. I did a class with that once and I was like, wow. Okay.
It's not Rockland though.
Not Rockland. Although I have to tell you, we were just crushed. Rockland has been recognized as one of the safest places to live. Also one of the best places to live. A few years ago when Safewise called it to ask me, why do you think you got that? I told them, well, clearly it's the mayor. That I think you would blame me if I went the other way. So I should take the credit when I can. We do work really closely with Roseville in particular. We're a region. what's good for them is good for us. Bosch, when we knew we were working to get Bosch, I went with them to Germany for about, they tried to kill us with, you know, I think we were there 5 days and we had 24 meetings, which was a little, I have no idea what Germany looks like, but I was there, I swear. We just got locked in, but getting them there is great jobs. It's great jobs, and it's great jobs of people that will live in Rockland, and they'll come and shop in Rockland. And so it's really important to support each other. We go to head something, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna just do whatever I take to win. But when it's something for one of my neighboring cities, I'm gonna try to support them because I know that we'll all benefit and all rising tide. Little bit about what we do on city council. You know, we're not Sacramento. If you're in Sacramento, you're a full-time council. Anybody want to take a guess what we get paid a month to be? I get paid to be the mayor of Rockland. Luckily, it's a little better than 623 bucks a month. And no, we don't get benefits. No, we don't get, it's really a stipend to help towards our expenses because we know we don't have an expense account, or this is kind of our public service. It is a labor of love. I love this city. We've been here 5 generations. I'm planning on staying 5 more, hopefully. So I got to make sure as we approach build out, we do a really good job. What I get for the new people moving in is so interesting. When my in-laws got here, Rockland was about 5,000 people. When my husband was born, we were about 3,000, and now we're about 75,000. But we're about built out. We don't have too much left, as you guys know better than anybody. In particular, Whitney Ranch is probably our last big project. And I honestly will tell you, I think it's the nicest place you could ever want to live. People are thrilled with it. The bike trails and the amenities. It's just been wonderful. If you're coming down Sierra College, across from the football field, that is the next big project that you guys will probably be involved in with College Park. And that started now. There'll be, I think it's about 400 between homes and a little bit of multifamily and a little bit of commercial in there. So that's the next piece you'll see. And then other than that, it's infill, quite honestly, for us, which is probably the biggest challenge because, you know, everybody's just realizing that vacant lot behind them might not be vacant forever. And as I remind them, please tell me you checked before you bought your house to see what that was zoned for. What we also on council is it's nonpartisan. This is supposed to be nonpartisan position. There's no Republican or Democrat in zoning and police and fire. And so I work really hard to keep that message that we represent Rockland and everybody and keep the politics out, keep the crazy away. It's kind of the best I put. I don't care if somebody that I work with is whatever they're registered. What I care is, have you done volunteer work in the city? Have you, and don't be crazy. That's my 2 requests. Please don't be crazy. Tell me that you've either done a planning commission or a park commission, or you're part of the Rotary or the chamber. Just show me that you've done some work and you're there for the right reasons, and I'm happy. Luckily, I've got a good team. And we're very different people, but we work very well together. Our goal is keep Rockland boring. We don't have the crazy council meetings. Keep us, keep that. I will tell you one of the things I'm very proud of. Rockland has the highest credit rating of any city basically in Placer County. We're AAA Fitch rating. We are very conservative on how we spend our money, but we take care of things. We have to be conservative because we're going to run out of space here and we can't live on growth. So we have to be really careful with what we do. We have paid all of our legacy costs. We pay them as we go, and they're all in advance. So you hear about cities sometimes that have the huge retirement worries. That's just not who we are. Sometimes a little too lean if you're trying to get a building permit. I know I'm going to hear from you because it's taken too long, and it is. But we're not going to staff up when we know we're going to be reducing. So we try to control that a little bit. So what I do, Public Works, taking care of the roads, taking care of the facilities, make sure our landscape looks good. Honestly, I think our parks look fantastic, and we have a few more than the 37 we have to come. We are not in districts. We are the only city around that is not elected by districts. And anybody want to take a guess why? I don't have that. you know, the reason they do districts is to make sure everyone's represented. Do you have a 10% in of a certain ethnic group or economically it's not being represented? We don't have that in Rockland. It's kind of like our schools. It's not like, oh, that's a good school and that's a bad school. Luckily, we're very even across the board. And so we've never had that challenge because we just don't check any of those boxes. The good part for that is that everybody that's voting is voting for Rockland. Because when you do get in districts, it's very hard not to say, what are you doing for my part of town? And then, well, then what are you gonna do for this one? So I'm happy to say we have bored ourselves right out of that one. There are 5 of us. We get elected 3. We're in 2024. And then myself and Bill Holland will be back up again next year. Pretty stable. We really don't have many changes. You know, you get challenges sometimes, but luckily, I think we've been pretty darn stable and our group's done pretty well together. We just did, which I was shocked, we just got together and said, you know, the hardest thing is communicating. People always say, oh, how did I didn't know? We doubled. So if there's a zoning change, we doubled what's required to notice people. I try to do a mayor's message every Friday on email. We try to get out as much as we can, but it's hard to keep people engaged. Social media, obviously. But I think that's probably one of our biggest challenges is getting people. So we did a survey. We said, let's do a survey every other year and send it out and see how we're going. So I'm shocked that it came out really, really well. I mean, I'm not shocked, but it was better than I even expected. 97% said Rockland was an ideal place to live. 94% said that they had a very positive quality of life. And about 9% said it was an ideal, 90% ideal place to raise a family. And believe it or not, we were at almost 90% that supported council and felt like, well, we were doing a good job. The positive is people feel really good. The negative is we also have the lowest sales tax around. If you were in Sacramento, your sales tax is 8.75. Rockland, we're 7.25. Roseville is 7.75. Lincoln is also low, which is we've been fine because we're doing really well. We know for build out, it's something we've really got to watch because fire and police has gotten dang expensive. They're 61% of my budget. So we're really watching that and to say, you know, should we get at least equitable with Roseville? And I know that Lincoln is looking at because they've had some financial challenges that they need some help with. We would never go, I think, at that level, but the hard part is everybody's happy, so they don't see the need sometimes. So it's really planning for the future that we're watching that to consider. But do I expect we may go out next year for a half cent? I do. So I just kind of start to let people go. That may happen. You know, Roseville did it a few years ago and they were able to hire a whole bunch of police and fire with that. That was a great move. That was great for them. My parks. I think we've been to Rockland Park. We've gone to check them. Anybody seen the new pump track? Please don't send all your friends. The dang thing's packed. We had a bunch of kids and the Rockland bike group came to us and said, we want this pump track. I didn't know what a pump track was, but it's kind of like a skateboard park for bikes, not e-bikes, of course, just regular bikes. It's out at Whitney Ranch. We've completed it and now we've got to do some landscaping next year. It's awesome. We'll show you a little quick clip, but it has gone so well. The only problem I'm having is it's gone out on social media, so people are coming from out of the area. We actually were awarded the project of the year from the National Park Group this year for that, so I'm really pleased. The old Sunset Whitney, everybody remember there used to be a golf course. They kind of let it run, you know, they closed the pool, they closed the tennis courts. It just really ran into the ground. And they did come to council and said, if you let us build 30 houses, we'll fix the irrigation. The issue was, it's 30 houses now, then what's going to happen? And park, you know, it's zoned recreation. That is not something we usually mess with. And so I don't think we have the confidence. I know they're doing the same. That same group is doing something similar in Roseville with one of theirs. So we said, no, you show us that you're going to invest in this property. You just let it go to heck. And they just walked away. They closed it and they walked away. And it sat for a little while and then we were able to buy it. So Rockland bought 184 acres dead center and it wasn't part of our park plan, but It is awesome. We have 5 miles of trails there now, tore down the old clubhouses. Unfortunately, they just got trashed. We're putting 16 pickleball courts in the next year. They tell me it's at 90% design finish now, so pickleball is coming.
Where's that?
So it's right off Midas is probably the easiest way to get there. And it's just a natural, it's not, manicured. We went in and did a lot of cleanup with trees and things and fixed the trails. So the old golf carts are now walking trails. It's awesome. It's a great place to just very quiet, very chill. We are putting a Veterans Memorial Park in there this year because it is quiet and chill. And we have one now right by City Hall that's really not too much cars and things. It's not the reflection that we were hoping for. So that is coming. And probably the most exciting was in July, Clover Valley. Has anyone gone up to Boulder Ridge Park or seen Clover Valley to know what Clover Valley is? 17 years ago, there was a development agreement put on that to fill the whole valley with homes. It went through the court system, and about 11 years ago, that was upheld. But did we know that would be a battle forever? It would, and it's a stunning, stunning piece of property. And I'm really pleased to share that in July, we were able to work with Placer County Office of Ed, some private donors, Lincoln, we all contributed, and we bought 404 acres of Clover Valley. All the valley slopes and floor, and that has a conservation easement put over it. It will never be developed. It will be open to the public down the road for passive access. The Placer County Office of Ed put in 2.3 million towards that purchase, and they are going to put an outdoor education center in there. So kids can come and kind of like have a little camp in Rockland. So I'm really excited about that. But for our realtors, the ridgetops are going to be developed. Going to be very, very high-end homes. It's already some work out there. So do want to make sure that that they will not be cheap. I'm certain, because you'll be sitting on the edge of Clover Valley, but it is coming. So there will be development there. Probably the most important thing that came out of our community survey was the safety piece. So if you come into Rockland now, every access has what's called a flock camera. So if there's a stolen car that drives into Rockland, we immediately get an alert. If there is a break-in somewhere at 2 a.m., we basically look and say who drove into town at 2 a.m. and they have done such a good job. Some of you might have heard last year we had two big burglaries at it's Roseville Motorsports, but it's actually in Rockland on Pacific. They stole a U-Haul and multiple cars, immediately came in, so nothing's reported as stolen. They drove their car through the window, and then it looked like 6 ninjas jumped out in black, and they loaded, I think they had 6 motorcycles into the U-Haul and were gone. We were there in 4 minutes and they were gone. And so I was like, how in the heck are you going to find them when you don't have any idea the plates are, stolen cars? We had the first one the next day. We got them all. And I will tell you, I can't give out all their secrets, but holy moly, are they good at getting people nowadays. It's amazing that criminals are stupider than they look sometimes. So, if you're going to go break into someplace, maybe you shouldn't put the address in your phone for directions. Because it's amazing what you can find of who searched this address at 4 a.m. And yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm like, wow, you guys are getting good. One of my favorites, last year we had 50% of the crime in Rockland is vehicle, because we don't lock our cars. So kids are going by. I said, I could cut my crime in half if we locked our cars. Myself included, of course. But we had somebody said, hey, my earbuds got stolen. And so they were on. And so Rockland PD's like, hey, they're in Sac, let's go get them. And so,
Oh, wow.
it was great. They go down there and you have to check in with the local police. And of course, Sac County was like, you're here for a set of earbuds. So they went with us and they busted a stolen property ring. And so they're not making fun of us in Rockland anymore from Sacramento. Yes. Yeah.
So who at the Rockland City that we need to talk about
for all of our open house signs that are scoping?
Oh, I'm sure. We're a bit of,
Is there a hotline that
we are a little aggressive on signage, sign vomit, as we call it. I'm sorry to say. They're probably at the courtyard. So if you need to go, because odds are they're at the courtyard. So you can go pick them up. We've all done the walk of shame. In campaign time, I have to write on the back now if I have them on somebody's yard to say I have permission from this homeowner. I'm really not just sticking them up anyplace strange, but odds are that's where they are. We're brutal on signage.
We
We
get
are.
ask permission in the yards, that you guys pick them up out of people's yards.
Should not be picking them up out of people's
Right,
yards.
notice she said she put them on their name.
I
She put
know.
the name on
I
top.
do, because there's a
Oh,
likely code enforcement. It's funny because I keep seeing some builders, I'm like, nobody's saying anything, but if it's on private property, it's private. I can stick a sign up that says whatever I want to say, but it's the medians, and the public property, they're gonna get picked up. They will. Although, note to self, if it's on the weekend, probably not, because our code enforcement guys only work Monday through Friday. So just saying.
Still wants to help.
That poor guy, I talked to him today. I'm like, what a job you have, because I'm like, every day you get to go make people so happy. Some cool stuff, our fire, we do have a fire fee. I gotta go call somebody that's mad at me now about the fire fee. And I'll tell you what we did. Roosevelt does as well. So in Lincoln, I'm not bagging on Lincoln, I swear. But if you're in Rockland and you have a heart attack and you call for 911, you get a full paramedic. We are there and we start the 12 lead. We start to treating you and then get you to the hospital. Because if you're in Lincoln, you don't have that ability, you get an EMT. So they're there to help stabilize you to get you to the hospital, but they can't start that treatment. And I know they're looking at trying to make that change. We kind of have the Cadillac service. But what we found out is all that stuff's really expensive. And because we have a private ambulance service, they won't let us put our bill for that equipment on their bill. They're not able to do that. So we send a bill, it's $295. If you get transported, if we are the first people there and started service, and often we go with you to the hospital, then we send a bill. The intent was to get the insurance that everybody has because they'll pay it. And that was reimburse us for our costs that we actually had out of pocket. If anybody has any issues with not ability to pay it, we waive it. There's nobody we haven't waived, to be honest with you. But it's really helped us reimburse for those consumable products. But it gets people, even if I call 911, I have to pay a bill. Well, there's a lot of ifs that's in there, but our goal, we just bought another fire truck, 1.5 million. It's really expensive, and we are opening a 4th fire station. So on Sierra College's campus, if you got anybody, kids, grandkids that want to be a firefighter, we're going to open up a station on Sierra College. We're going to make it a training station. So you can go to Sierra College, train to be a firefighter. We'll do it all there, and you'll graduate and be a full-fledged, hopefully paramedic firefighter, because we require ours to be paramedics. We've already ordered the equipment, even though we haven't even built the building, because it takes 4 years to get it now. But we're working on getting that done, so we're excited with that. Oh, my other challenge, Highway 65, we all have the same, isn't it lovely? And then when it's ugly, everybody gets off. I'm gonna put up, it's like a scene out of Blazing Saddles. I'm gonna put one of those arms down. If you're coming from Lincoln and you're cutting down Sunset, I need to buck out of here or something. Because we track everybody, and I don't blame them. It's terrible on 65. They're bailing and coming down Sunset. We don't want to widen Sunset and make that a more attractive option, but we are very, very hopeful. You probably just heard that Congressman Kiley helped, and they actually, which, without trying to be political, we had former congressmen that would never put in for anything, didn't believe in earmarks, and I get it, but we're all paying the taxes, and meanwhile 65 is killing us. And especially if you're going to build in Lincoln, they're what, 50,000 now, they're going to be 120,000 here shortly. I can't imagine what happens to 65. So we've been trying to get some help forever. Went out twice and tried to do a sales tax. You have to have a supermajority both times it lost by like 2,500 votes. We were like 64%. We needed 66. We can't get the matching state money unless you have your half to match. So I'm very happy to say that they put in, and they're telling us it's not going to do the whole thing. But you already saw when we did one lane, how much better it got. If you used to be coming from 80, it was scary. You were sitting there thinking you're going to get run into, and it improved greatly, but we need to get the other side going and extend it further. So we think we're going to get some, I don't know if every day it changes on these grants from the feds, but we are hopeful that we've been approved to get some money to fix those first 2 lane sections. So we're very hopeful, and it's shovel ready. It's been shovel ready. So they say we're going to start construction in 28. So yeah, we're all hoping. One of the things, probably the biggest challenge that we've had is we all serve on different departments or different boards for our council. I am the vice chair of SACOG, if you're familiar with the Sacramento Area Council of Governments. For a long time, Placer County kind of kept their distance. We weren't as engaged as we should have been. So been really trying to make a change with that, and been active on serving on and chairing several of the boards and commissions. So I'm serving as vice chair this year. I anticipate that I get that seat next year, and wish me luck. It's a lot of big personalities in there. It's all the supervisors and mayors from the 6-county region, and we plan the roads and where you're going to build houses, and trying to see the best way to, there's such a push to keep everything condensed. That doesn't always work in Placer County. So hopefully we'll make a difference. But they have also come out and told us what we have to build for workforce housing, affordable housing. Rockland's done its part in building for a long time, but we don't have a lot of affordable housing. They gave us a number that we had to build. We did an overlay of where we could put those, and then multiple projects came to us that they built multifamily but no affordable, and that keeps happening. So we just had to go back our last meeting, and we got notified by HCD that we were no longer in compliance. So what that means is builder's remedy kicks in. And so somebody can come and build whatever they dang well want, and I don't have any control anymore. So we had to get back in compliance. So we went through and approved some more houses to put on that overlay. The challenge we had, and they finally worked with us, is they want numbers of units, but also acreage. I don't have any acreage left to do. And what does it matter how many acres if I've got the units? So we finally think we've worked through that. We have our second, you have to hear it twice. So we'll have our second one at our first September meeting, and hopefully we're back in compliance again. And hopefully maybe somebody will actually build. You talked about interest rates. We've got multiple spots. The old Kmart is supposed to be affordable housing. It's been sitting forever. You guys know, you drive by, and all I ever hear is it doesn't pencil out, and then interest rates went up, and that makes it worse. And so I can only zone for them. I don't have to build it, but you can make. And I think people get concerned that it's, Section 8. You can make up to 80% of the average income, which is significant income in our area. This is a new teacher jobs. So this isn't, people get a little nervous about it, but we have done some out by Whitney High. And if you look at those condos, and maybe some of you have done it, it's 90% market rate, but 10% affordable. You buy a condo at an affordable price. So we're trying to do it like that to integrate well and make it not a big change for people. So hopefully we'll get there. The county, we're in a little bit of a discussion with the county. Rockland's a great place to live, so they keep buying my commercial properties. If you remember where Sherry's Berries was, which is now the county auditor, county health, I'm turning into the county seat, but they just also now, Placer County Sheriff just purchased the old K-Love building on Blue Oaks. If anybody's familiar, we were trying to get a manufacturer in there, but they bought it. And when we pointed out to them that you can't fence it because there's an easement for the building next door, they bought the building next door. So they now have 250,000 square feet of my commercial space. And so we're having that conversation with the county of, we got to talk first. You don't pay sales tax, you don't pay property tax. That really hits the residents. So we're trying to balance that a little bit better. It's the Placer County. So they just they say they've got multiple buildings now, and I get it, we're centrally located, but it really is an impact. GSAC, the Economic Council ran the numbers just for that building, it's about a $7 million hit for us. So, when we have an $80 million a year budget, that's a big hit. So, our homeless, I'm really, really proud to say, we have we are, I think, the lowest in South Placer. We did our point in time count in January, and I think we have 13. They all are people we know. They've got connections in Rockland. We have a bus picks them up and takes them to the Roseville shelter every night and brings them back every morning because they belong to us. They're ours. We have ways for all of them to get into housing. These are the last that just don't want to do that. But on the fun stuff, and I know they've give you some of the fun stuff because before so Granite Drive is our bread and butter. I mean, you know, we've got Audi and Mercedes and Tesla and Lucid. We lost Camping World. Everybody bought a RV during COVID, and everybody now is selling their RV. So they condensed and went to Roseville, and that was a big hit for us. And then Harley Davidson also just wasn't doing it. They condensed, and Floor and Decor went to Roseville and they condensed. So those were 3 of our top 25. I'm happy to say that Genesis, which is the luxury arm of Hyundai, so if you like Lexus and Toyota, they have moved it to they're starting to the Harley Davidson building, and very happy to say that Rivian is coming to the old Camping World building. So we've got Rivian, Lucid, and Tesla. So if you're going electric, you're coming to Rockland, basically. It's really important for us to figure out what's going to happen on tariffs because those are all imports. So we don't know how to plan a little bit on our budget because it is such a sales tax, but we're excited. Most importantly, Nugget. If you've been down on University, we are the Nugget everyone thinks is in Rockland is Roseville's Nugget. There's a little chunk of Rockland that Roseville took a bunch of years ago. But February 4th, it will be opening. Wow. And it's going to be beautiful. It's got a cafe upstairs. It's got bike trails to get there. And as well as just them, there's a ton of really nice businesses going in. They won't let us share what they are, but they're very upscale, really nice businesses that will be going in there. They'll have a little amphitheater outside. So we're really excited about that one. And then the other big one that's coming, if you're familiar with Quarry Park, anybody been to a concert at Quarry Park? You've seen my outfits somehow. Yes. It's the best thing I get to do is welcome everybody. We did Yachtly Crew last week. It was insane. 2,000 people. It was the best fun. We had such a good time. But yeah, right next door to the adventure park, which is the zip lining piece. We are in contract with a company that if you've been to Oxbow in Napa with the public market there, very similar. They're going to build a public market there. So kind of brewery, restaurant, you can look over the zip line, you can have dinner and then go in to, they're also going to have some housing on the 2nd floor. So the restaurants, little businesses like, chocolatier and a gin maker and different things like that downstairs, and then probably some housing up top. So super excited about that. I'm trying to think. We got, and then the concert series is a blast. And when people wonder why we do it, because at the Yachtly Crew, we have 2,000 people there. Then they go have dinner and they fill their car with gas, so they spend the night, and that's really good because we've got to get our downtown going. That's our biggest goal. Is it burned down many years ago, and we need to get it back. So we've got all the infrastructure in now to do that. Now we need the property owners to get going. So we're excited to have our first public market go in there, and I think that we've got coming up Everclear. If my 90s people are here, so we've got Everclear coming Friday. We've got a cover band for the Bee Gees that apparently is very popular. We got some reggae coming. Robert Trower, if you're a 70s guitar kind of person. So if you haven't been, you bring a little low lawn chair. It's not like you need a great seat. It's awesome. It really is fun. So that's kind of the new stuff in Rockland. And you've got a 1-minute video, I think. I'll show you fast. I'll speed. The amphitheater portion. Little view of Clover Valley, if you haven't seen it, that's a little bit part of it. You guys all have to say any questions that you guys have for me? Thank you so much. I know you're pitching and I will share to you, one of my favorite boards I ever serve on is the Placer County Chaplaincy. If anyone is familiar, it is a non-denominational, I thought that these were paid people, but if you have a car accident, there is a suicide, there is an overdose, there's a death notification, there's the police in Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, Placer County call the chaplains. They're all volunteers. They do this out of their own. They but they do have to pay for insurance and the two positions they have that coordinate. So they have a barbecue coming up at Blue Goose on October 9th. And anybody and at any time might need that service. So I ask people to consider. These are some really good people and we use them shockingly a lot around here. So if you can support the chaplains and they'll be there. There you go. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm gonna pass around before you guys leave just to take a look because you'll get a kick out of it. I found this from my mother-in-law's things a while back. This is a map of Rockland and it's before Sierra College got there. So I think it's about 59, but it'll give you just a little idea of this. This was the future Sierra College that was gonna go there, but this was all of Rockland and the only businesses that we had. So just kind of fun to take a peek. Can have it forever.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys, that's all we have for today. Make sure you come back next Thursday. We're gonna have a fantastic meeting about credit scores. It's gonna be fun. All right. All right. See you guys next week.